Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know where from. I'm Elad, founder in Evmux. Very happy to be here today for our 47th town hall. It's almost a year of town halls that we're making. Every week is a pleasure. Again, I'm really waiting for those town halls. And thank you for joining us. So I'll start just by saying hello to people in the chat. So hi Darius, thank you for joining. Susan, Nix, I guess this is New York Nix. All right, amazing. Thank you for joining. Hey Christian, hey Joanna. Hello Domino, how are you? Perfect. We have here CL Sig, sorry, from Texas. Thank you for joining. Thank you for everyone watching. Feel free to tell us in the chat that you are here and where are you joining from. For everyone that is new in the town halls, the way we are doing it, we are focusing on a specific feature, discussing about it a little bit, why we think it's a great feature, also listening to what you have to say in the chat. Then we are showing a deep dive video that really shows how to use the feature. And it's a great way also to understand, what questions you might have and ask them in the chat. And then after the video, I'm taking the questions by their order. Trying to just reply to everything. Feel free to ask any off-topic questions. That's totally fine, even more than welcome. It makes all the conversation really going smooth and, people just asking questions, I'm answering, and also others in the chat can jump in, step in and help and reply. That's also a great opportunity to ask you to like, subscribe if you are not, to make sure that you are being updated with all of our new content. So thank you everyone for joining today. Oh, I see someone from Australia here and Baltimore. Wow, thank you for joining. Baltimore and Australia. Australia is morning now. Wow, thank you for joining. Let us know how it is in Australia right now. I think it's kind of summer in Australia now, if I'm not mistaken. Cool. All right. So today our topic is it's one and a half feature, I can call it, the sound effects and the music, the background music that we announced last week. But last week, if you remember, we announced about 6 new features all at once. And then in the upcoming weeks, we will try to dive deeper on each of the features. So today we're going to focus on sound effects and background music. So I'll start with the first one, the sound effects. Sound effects is a great way to enhance the engagement with your audience. So just as a quick example, maybe we will do this, what I have here, this. So this kind of effects is built in the system. I didn't have to do anything crazy. I just clicked a button and made it happen. And in the video that we will show really shortly, you will see how exactly you can set it up and leverage it. So that's the first feature we'll focus on today. And the second one is the background music cross scenes. We are emphasizing this is cross scenes simply because, in Evmux, when you have the dynamic and proscenes, etc., in proscenes you can upload so many different things. One of them will be music as a background music, but the issue for people was, and the challenge was, that when they're playing different scenes, the audio tracks that they're uploading or videos starting again. From the beginning, and they don't have something that we call it cross scenes, like on top of the scenes, regardless which scene you are playing, the music, the background music will just be there, and that's a great, maybe opportunity to play a nice background music that I created. So let me know what you think about this background music. If it adds to the stream, you think I need to make the volume higher, lower. Just interesting to see your thoughts about the track that I decided to add here. And yeah, so with music, you can just upload your tracks or use tracks that we already have in the system. And then those tracks will be played for many different reasons, but I think the main use case is the background music. So like now that I'm just talking, there is some background music that you can hear, and sometimes it makes the experience of the stream much nicer, more engaging, and a lot of people really like that. So we added it. You can loop this music or not, it's up to you. I decided to loop this track, but again, just for doing some tests and really curious to hear your thoughts on it. So before I'm playing the video that's really explaining deeper how to set everything up and how to use it, I'd love to see what you say on the chat. So we have Jim Lawyer, thank you for joining from Ohio. What else we have here? Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Hello from Madrid. Oh my God. Cool. We have Terry here. Thank you for joining. And that's it for now in the chat. I see the questions. I'll definitely take them. And I'm really curious to hear your feedback on my background music here. So if there are no further feedback for now, I'll play this video. And again, I'm watching the chat all the time, so please feel free to send your questions during the video, and then we'll take the questions by their order. So enjoy the video.
Rodecaster Pro, Focusrite Vocaster, Tascam Mixcast are just a few of the products you can use to add background music to your live stream in Evmux. Until now.
Tell me more.
Built into the Evmux Studio for both pro and dynamic scenes is an option for background music and sound effects. You can play a song and control the volume, or stack applause, drum roll, and a DJ air horn all with ease.
I like that.
It's your boy Kirk Nugent here for Evmux, your live streaming sweet spot. And in this video, we're looking at background music. So here we are in the Evmux studio, and we're looking at the dashboard. We're looking at a dynamic scene. And right here, right across the top, you see pro scene layers, you see graphics and styling, and that third icon, that's the one. Let's zoom in on it. Let's make sure you can see that thing clearly. Music and sound effects. That is the one. We're going to click on that, and that's where we're going to hang our hat for the duration of our video today. This is the latest feature added to the Evmux Studio. It sits right here in dynamic scenes, but it is no different if you were to go to, say, a pro scene. So let's select a pro scene. You can see that this sound effects screen is still here. We're going to go back to the dynamic scene, just kind of sit here for a little bit. The first thing in the music and sound effects, of course, is sound effects. They have a section of them right here at the top that you can go through. 6 of them, to be exact, that sit on your main screen. You can swap these out, but you have a maximum of 6 that sit here on this screen. And so we can play an air horn. You can hear what that sounds like, but maybe that air horn is just a little too loud. You hit these 3 dots on the side. You can adjust, you can click this option that says volume bar. Click that, and then the volume bar shows on the sound effect. Let's do that again. Hit the 3 dots and then select the option that has the volume bar. Let's do it yet again. Hit the 3 dots, select that option, and it gives you the volume bar. And so we can pull this down, pull this down, pull this down so that it's not as obtrusive in your live show. And you want to play with that. Get a feel for what's too loud, what's not too loud. Hit the record button, play it back, listen to it yourself as if you're a viewer, maybe even go live and listen to it while you're watching on one of the platforms, just to get a feel for what that user or viewer experience is like. Then you can actually go through and replace these. There are multiple sound effects built into the system. And so all you have to do is click on, let's say we want to replace this magical twinkle one, right? Yeah. We want to replace that one. So we hit the 3 dots and we say replace sound. When we replace sound, you get a whole new dialogue. You can search for some of the sounds that you have in here, and you have a number of them. You can see all of them here. These are the media, the public media is what comes with the system, but you can also upload your own. Right here on this icon, it says upload new. You click that option, and then you just browse on your computer to find wherever your sound effects are. And to be clear, these are all going to be MP3 files. So this is compatible with MP3 files. So keep that in mind. For sound effects, however, you do have a bit of a limitation in terms of the length. So keep that in mind as well. I already uploaded 3 different sound effects that you can see here. I'm going to go ahead and replace it with this one. And so now instead of the twinkle, we actually have Mario dies. Let's do add our volume bar, pull that sound down just a little bit, and then let's hear what that sounds like. Familiar sound for anybody that's from my era. But you can go ahead, you can click on another one. Let's say you don't want the crowd applause. You can click here, you can click replace sound, and you can select something else. All right, let's say we want to put in this one. The got 'em sound effect. Oh, I like to make sure that I have my audio set right first, and then last thing I want to show you in the sound effects section before we move on to background music, which is just below, is that you can stack them. So if I want to play the air horn, the got 'em, the drum bell, the doorbell, the drum snare, the sad trumpet, even Mario dies, I can play all of them and they will all play all at this. So you can stack your sound effects no matter what is going on. You can add this to your stream and really punch up the engagement and make it an engaging show for your viewers. And one of the things I also wanted to mention right before we move on to background music is if you press a sound effect more than once, it doesn't start it. It doesn't stop the sound effect. It actually starts it over again. So keep that in mind. Now on to background music. Now I want to be clear. Even though this section says music, the thinking is, the purpose is to play this as background music. Now, maybe you are using this during your countdown clock, the beginning of the stream or something like that, and you want to have that turned up. You can do that by clicking this wheel right here. Right at the top of the music section, you have the wheel. You can click that and you can adjust your volume for your music. I'm going to keep it pretty low. Next thing, we can just play some music. This one is 6 minutes and 51 seconds. So we can play that. And so that background music is there. I think that that's a good volume level. But again, if you want to bring that down some, you can bring it down right here. If you try to play more than one at a time, it just stops the other. Okay. It just stops the one and it plays the other. You can't play 2 of them at the same time. So keep that in mind. So you have this here. But the other thing that I do like is that you can fast forward, or as they say, scrub to a specific part of the song. Let's say there's a specific spot you want to scrub to. You can do that by just scrubbing right to that part of the song, and you can get right to that particular piece and play that into your live show if you so desire. You have several of them in this playlist here, and this is not your limitation. You can add as many to this as you want by clicking edit list. So we click edit list here, and we do have some of my uploads, of course, and you have public media. All the ones that have the blue check mark are the ones that are in the list. So if I wanted to add some of these other ones, I could do that in that same way. Remember I said that some of the sound effects the sound effects section rather has the limitation on time. So if you wanted to play a slightly longer sound effect like this one here, you would simply add it to your music section, which I'm going to do right now. I'm also going to add this one, which is a theme song for my show, and I'm going to upload a new sound effect. This is one that that I use on my show all the time, Kirk track. I'm gonna click OK on that one. But once you add it, right, we've uploaded this one here, right? So it says Kirk track right here, but notice it does not have a blue check mark. So we want to make sure we go through and click that one. So once it has the blue check mark, we can click done, and you'll see that all 3 of these new ones have been added to the system. So if I press play on that one, now I'm at home. This is my song from my show, and you can do the same thing for your show. Similarly, this is another song that I use on my show. Having this in the background could really punch up the production value of my live show. And then again, for my longer sound effects, I can have that in the system right here as well. And of course, I just want to upload bring the volume up on that. But that is the idea behind using sound effects and background music in Evmux.
Thank you. I really needed this.
Background music and sound effects are in that nice to have category, right? Not necessarily required, but it adds a polish and sets the tone for your viewers if done right. And that, my friends, is the final point. Don't overdo it. Evmux has given us all this power, but how it's implemented is a question of how intentional we're going to be. Be intentional about your viewer experience by learning more best practices, tips, tricks from videos like these.
Thank you, Kirk, for an amazing video. And I really agree with what Kirk just said at the end of the video, that, you know, this is not a must to have background music, sound effects, stuff like that. And that's maybe why we waited, you know, about a year since we launched. Like, we launched in January, so a bit less than a year to release this feature. But yet, you know, because Evmux is all about unleash yourselves as content creators and make sure that you're not limited and you're creating content that is special, unique, and making a difference and making people attracted to your content, I think background music and sound effects are more than nice to have. Like, if you want to be unique, you have to take advantage of those capabilities, and I'm very, very happy that we have them natively in Evmux now. And yeah, now I'll take the questions one by one by their order, and just feel free to send questions here to the chat. So let's make sure that I'm not missing anything. If I miss something, just let me know. Not intentional. I'm just trying my best here. All right. So where we start? All right. The chat is blowing. Thank you for everything. Let's see here. Back in chat. All right. So Nix is saying, would love to see the backend chat to be a little larger to see also the ability to kick or time out a chat user from backend. Yeah. So kicking out people from the chat is something we're trying to see what is the best way to do that, because, you know, at the end of the day, the chat is going on the platforms and not on Evmux. You are able to kick guests now in Evmux if they are joining as guests to Evmux, your speakers, and for some reason, you know, there are people just publishing the URL for being a guest in the show just because they want something ongoing, which is really nice. And then sometimes they would like to kick someone because they're, you know, it's inappropriate or stuff like that. So you are able to kick guests, but not yet to control the chat from Evmux. You are able to read the chat. You are able to highlight comments like I'm just doing now. You are able to comment back to the chat. And let's do a test here. Hey y'all. So I reply to you to the chat, but you cannot delete or kick people from the chat from Evmux. All right. What else I got here today? Yeah. So as Kirk showed, there are hotkeys for the sound effects as well, which is really, really nice. So people using hotkeys and stream decks, definitely. We said before, when we are releasing a feature, we really try that the feature will be ready, you know, ready to use and not just very minimal. That's why sometimes it takes more time than expected, but it's totally worth it. And yeah, this feature is not different. All right, Joanna, thank you for letting us know. If you need any help, you know, we have the Facebook community, we have the support chat, but I'm happy to hear that you figured it out yourself. That's definitely great. And it always makes you feel really good when you were able to you know, to figure out an issue by yourself. You just, it makes you, you know, to try the system, to do the tweaks, and really make sure that you are on board and you know how to use it. So happy for you. What else we have here? All right, great question. Hi, Joseph. I don't remember you from last town hall, so thank you for joining and let us know where you're from. It's really, I'm curious just to know the community as much as I can. So the question is, can guests play sound effects as well? So the answer is no, and this is intentional. Like, you know, it's always the balance you need to find between what you allow your guests to do and what you don't. I understand definitely why you would like them to be able to add the sound effects, because sometimes, you know, someone is talking and they know when the sound effect is needed, but they always can kind of ruin the show, you know, or making things that you don't want them to do. And if we will allow them to add sound effects themselves, you lose control. And for now, we decided that we don't let the guests this power, so they can speak if they're on stage. They can reply to the chat verbally because they see the chat coming and going, but they cannot add sound effects. They cannot change scenes. They cannot do transitions like that. They just can't. This is what we decided now, but totally open to hear feedback and what people think. If you have ideas how we can make this balance better, always happy to hear your feedback. Thank you, CL Sig. Yeah, happy that you like it. Also, Toya, thank you for that. Another question from Joseph. If there's a host and a collaborator, do each of these have 6 selection of sound effects? All right, that's a great question, and helps me to really explain the difference maybe between a host and a collaborator. So the host is the one that, let's call it the admin of the account, okay? The person that really created the project, created the session and everything. And then you might want to have what we call co-host, collaborator, you know, depends how you want to use it. The idea is that it will be another person that has access to the studio before or during the live or the recording. So this person basically having the same access you have for the studio. So it means any sound effects you're putting there, it will be the same, identical for both of you. So if me and Joseph together now having a show and I'm changing anything in the sound effects section, it will be reflected for Joseph's studio as well, because the studio is identical. Same thing for scenes. If I'm doing any change for scene number 1, Joseph will see that. If I'll delete a scene, Joseph will see that. So we are just controlling the same studio. It's not that I'm having something and then Joseph having something else, and then it will be a clash. Okay, so that's the idea of a collaborator. You are managing the same show, the same studio, just from different locations, different computers. So both of you having control. I hope that answered the question. Yeah, Kirk is a master, definitely. All right, we have a feedback here from Joanna. It would be great to be able to add a sound effect, optional, automatically when displaying banner on the screen to attract the attention of the viewers. Actually, that's a great idea. I'm thinking out loud with you now. So when you're setting up banner or ticker, or you know what, it can be anything that you might think as a trigger, but banners and tickers are good. Another thing we can think about is maybe the chat comment that I'm just highlighting, and attach to them a sound effect that you are setting up ahead of time. So really interesting. Definitely taking the note here, and that's the power of this community. So thank you for this great idea. Grandma Joe, thank you for the kind words, and I'm super happy to see you here. All right, CL Sig is asking, any plans to make the participant experience easier for tech challenge people? My participants had a hard time getting the live preview to go full screen. I didn't have time to talk them through it. All right, that's a great point that we hear from a lot of people. And let me just make sure that everyone is on the same page and understand what basically CL Sig is asking here. When your guests are joining, and we have a lot of videos in our YouTube channel about the guest experience, speaker and guest experience in Evmux, remember that they are joining not the studio, they are joining what we call the speaker room. So this interface is a much more easy to use interface. They don't have scenes. They don't have anything about the branding. They simply see a gallery view with themselves and other speakers. They see the chat. They can, play around with mute, unmute, changing their camera, mic, and stuff like that. Share screen, and also they can see the live preview. For now, the live preview in Evmux is on the small corner, pretty small. And the reason is because we think about speakers really focusing on speaking and not much focusing on exactly how it looks. Think about it when, I don't know if any of you had any experience of being in TV shows. When you're in a studio, a real studio in a TV show, you're not seeing how it looks for the audience. You're just focusing on talking in the panel, and there is a small TV on the side showing how it looks for the audience. That's basically what we thought about when we created it. With that said, we hear a lot of feedback from people just like you, CLSIG, asking for the ability to switch and allow the speakers to see the preview larger and even full screen. So we definitely took that home, and we are thinking of the best way to allow your speakers to switch between the two options. Think about it like even in Zoom that you can change from spotlight to gallery view. So kind of the same idea of switching between different views. Like it will be the view of the preview, let's say, and it will be the view of, let's call it the simple gallery view, if you will. We don't know exactly how we're going to call it. Also open for feedback here. And also we haven't really determined 100% the look and feel of this switching, but it's definitely going there, definitely working on it. So stay tuned here. All right, Grandma Joe, a lot. Just use duplicate, I guess it's duplicate, full session. Prepped live, then set up 2 pre-recorded videos and schedule them as I wanted. All the ability to dupe sessions. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so thank you, Grandma Joe, for the kind words. Just to make sure that you are, again, all on the same page, Grandma Joe is referring our announcement last week of the ability to duplicate sessions in Evmux. Remember, in Evmux, sessions can be either reused, so again and again you're using the same session, which is nice if you're just going like me. I'm going weekly on the town halls. Everything is kind of the same setup, same scenes, same channels, and I'm just reusing the same session again and again. A lot of people do want to have the ability to duplicate the session because the majority is the same, but there might be some small changes here and there. And Grandma Joe asked for this feature for a long time, and we announced it last week. Very happy about this announcement. There is a video coming up in the next few weeks about explaining more deeply about the duplicate sessions and how to make it happen. If you're really curious, you can look at the last town hall, and I did some demonstration on it. Perfect. All right. All right, so Grandma Joe asked me to remind you that moderators can manage the chat very easily. I guess when you're saying moderators, you're talking about collaborators. So yes, again, think about it. The collaborator, the co-host, they have access to the studio just like you. So when people having co-host, usually what I recommend to do is to designate who is going to do what during the show. For example, there will be one host in charge of switching the scenes and maybe take care of the guests, and there will be the collaborator taking care of the social chat. In this case, I'm doing both because, it's just me here and it's pretty easy, but sometimes there are shows a bit more complex and you do want to make sure that, here the chat is not like blowing crazy, but there are definitely shows that the chat is like 100, 200 people watching and the chat is really ongoing. So you might need someone to be really on top of that. So that's where co-host is really helpful. Christian, would you consider Facebook chat a feature? I don't know what to answer that. In general, I can say that the social chat for now is pretty basic. I mean, as the host, as the host in the producer in the studio, you can see the comments, you can see where they're coming from, you can highlight them. But we're going to add a lot of capabilities there, things like super chats, and allow you to pin the chat better and to, you know, segment things and segment questions better. A lot of this coming up soon. So I don't know if I consider Facebook specifically as a feature, but this whole thing of social chat in Evmux, it's a whole thing. It's like a very major feature in the system, I can say. All right, what else we have here? Yeah, so Christian talking about trigger with overlay like confetti. Definitely, I think the next phase of the sound effects and the music, more of the sound effects, I guess, is video effects. So it's definitely coming, working on it for sure. And it connects to what Joanne said before about having triggers for specific things like banner that will be attached to a sound and or video effect. Definitely interesting, and we'll definitely consider it. Yeah, Christian, like you said, the small preview for the guest make that very difficult for them to interact with what's on screen. That's true. The question that we asked ourselves all the time was, does it matter what's on screen for them if they're just in a conversation and they're talking to someone? And apparently it is sometimes and sometimes not. And that's why we definitely think of allowing the guests themselves to decide what view they would like to have in the speaker room. And that's the direction we're going towards. And I hope that you like it once we release it. All right. So the Helu Hagdom. I hope that I pronounced it properly. My show revolves around reacting to and talking about what is on the screen. So we need to make the screen bigger and real time. I totally get it. There is a hack that you can do to make it. If you right click on the small preview and then click on show controls, then you can make it full screen. It's kind of a hack. So if it is for now really, really important for you and you don't want to wait for us to release like the easy navigation between the interfaces, between the views, then definitely you can use this hack. If you need more help, Facebook group or the support chat, and we'll be able to make sure that you are all set. Right. Joseph, I would love to have a preview and program view while live. We have that. It sounds like you're fairly new in the platform. That's totally amazing. So we definitely have that. And the way it works is if you have only dynamic scene in your studio, then when you go live or record, you won't have the screen split to preview and live. But once you have even one pro scene in place, then when you go live, the scene will be split to preview and live. We have also tons of videos in our YouTube channel about that. You can look for Evmux picture-in-picture video. You can look on, and if people can help me here to send the videos link in the chat, it will be even amazing. But just a quick search for Evmux picture-in-picture, Evmux dynamic versus pro, and stuff like that. You will see how amazing it is to see the live preview and like editing in the left screen and then what's really live for you on the right screen. It allows you to edit on the fly. It allows you to really create the scenes you would like to have. Super powerful feature. And, I just recommend you to go and watch those amazing videos we have about that. All right, what else? All right, so there's a question here about the ability to see the name from people replying from Facebook. So yeah, exactly as you say, Facebook, they have their privacy policy. and their privacy policy not allowing by default to see the name of the commenter. And that's why the viewers should approve the Evmux app on their end, and then we can show their names. We are going to improve the experience a little bit by adding a paragraph to any stream to Facebook that explaining your viewers what they should do automatically. So you won't have to worry about that. It's coming up really, really soon. Oh, Grandma Joe is correcting me. Thank you. So she's saying the mods are allowed on YouTube and we select them and they can kick off. Yeah. All right. So this is related to the question before about the ability to control the chat and kick people. So yeah, YouTube allows you to do that from the YouTube interface. You also can, and this is what Grandma Joe is referring to, you can also create moderators that will be in the chat with more capabilities. For example, I can give Grandma Joe and maybe we'll do that, I can give Grandma Joe the role of a moderator in the Evmux channel, and then Grandma Joe in the chat will be able to kick people for me when I'm live and I'm busy with other stuff and it's really hard to really, go to YouTube and kick people. So you can have moderators helping you. All right, Karta. Elad, is it possible to call an entire pro scene in another pro scene and then be able to resize it? Sometimes we need to display sponsors, add on left and bottom part. I'm not 100% sure what you're asking here. I can tell you that, first of all, you can duplicate scenes really easily with one click of a button. And then you can just take the layers in the duplicated scenes and play around with them and add more layers. So you can definitely, with pro scenes, add as many layers as you want. So if you have pictures of your speakers or whatever it is, sponsors, you can add them to the scene and then resize it and put it wherever you would like. If I haven't understood correctly your question, please correct me. But it sounds to me like pro scenes, you just need to play around with it, maybe watch more videos, maybe ask in the Facebook group or in the support chat. And I'm sure you'll get your answer more, because it's hard for me to really understand the use case here. All right, the questions from Paco. Anyway, chat can be highlighted after you show the chat on the live. When you say highlighted where? You mean in Evmux? Like, if I'm understanding you correctly, after I highlighted your comment like I do now, and after I hide it, you would like it to be in a different color in the Evmux Studio so you won't forget that you already highlighted this chat. If I'm correct, then definitely it's part of all the upgrade we are planning for this section of the social network comments. This is a huge, it's not a feature, it's not a small improvement, it's like changing the whole way it works with many improvements, because now it's fairly basic, which is nice and easy, but we definitely think we can have much more there. All right, anyone else have troubles with videos playing slowly from pro scenes presentations? Maybe it's my internet speed. If I understand you correctly, in the studio, when you are playing a video, sometimes the video plays with some lags for you, while on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are streaming, the video goes smoothly. So that might happen in most of the cases because of internet connection, or your computer is not strong enough to really play the video nicely in the studio. So it's important to mention that even if you see the video playing not very smoothly on your end, most of the cases, in most of the chances are that on YouTube and for viewers, it works flawlessly because it plays from the server. So it might be here and there that you play a video and for you it's a bit laggy, but not for your audience. No panicking. It can happen because of your internet connection or computer resources. All right, Alan, hi. Duplicating sessions also works well for scheduling 2 or more different upcoming live streams to YouTube. It's a great feature. Thank you very much. Thank you for the kind words. And as I said before, it took us time to release this feature because we want the duplication to include everything, the channels, the speakers, the scenes, all the layouts. Just think about it. Each scene can have unlimited layers, and all of those should be duplicated accurately. It's a pretty, heavy feature. Although for people like, okay, duplicate, one click of a button. It's not like that. I'm very happy that you like it and the way we implemented it. Christian, what Joseph is saying, they shouldn't change function. I was thrown by the changing mode of the preview. I agree it should stay static. I'm not sure I got it, so feel free just to clarify for me. Sorry. Joseph saying, awesome, we just got the pro account today and have not gone live with it yet. Thanks for answering. My pleasure. So definitely you'll see the split screens only when you are starting either a recording or live. Before that, it will be just one screen because you're just editing. So just give it a try. I recommend to either go live to YouTube private first or unlisted, or just record to see how it works and do some tests. Thank you, Alan, for sharing the video for picture-in-picture. All right, what else we have here? What we have here. The Real Ephraim podcast. Thank you for joining. I remember you a long time ago joining Evmux, so happy to see you here. I want to know, when are you going to add multiple camera function? That's coming up really soon. I don't want to promise next week. It won't be probably next week, but this is highest in our roadmap, so stay tuned. And as every feature we are releasing, it won't be just a stupid ad camera. It will be more robust, taking into considerations the audio aspect of the camera and stuff like that. Also thinking about good ways to, making scenes with multi-cameras and stuff like that. Stay tuned, it's coming. All right. Grandma Joe. Yes, I think a lot hit it by duping the scenes, the change, add, etc. The layer as you need. All right, I missed that, so sorry. I'm just reading the chat, so sorry for being quiet. Yeah, so that's exactly what we're going to add. We are going to add to any Facebook post that you will do from Evmux, any Facebook Live you'll do, it will be another paragraph explaining your viewers what they should do with the link to approve Evmux. All right, what else we have here in the chat? Can you group all objects in a scene and then resize it collectively? All right, I understand the question. Great question. I think, sometimes I'm confused with stuff. I know that you can do some sort of grouping and move them around. I don't think for now you can resize all of them all together. So the answer is no, but definitely something I'll take the note here to check with the dev team if it's even possible to do kind of grouping resizing if it makes sense. It's the first time, honestly, that I'm hearing this request, but really interesting. Thank you for that. In the basement, thank you for joining. Will the sound, GIFs, and on-screen be hotkeys? So I think you joined lately today, because in the video we showed, yes, there are hotkeys for the sound effects. So give it a try. You can maybe watch after the show the replay. We play the video in the beginning, so just catch up and you'll see the answer. All right, all right, all right. What else we have here? Yep, Christian. That's definitely part of what we're trying to do, making sure that chroma key feature is available also for the external cameras. Yeah, I totally get it, Carta. OBS is an amazing, very, very robust platform. It's kind of, how to call it, intentional that we won't have all the features you can find in OBS in Evmux, because I think that's what makes OBS too complicated for a lot of people. It's always the balance between ease of use and robustness, and we're always trying to think what features are really needed, what are those 95% of the people are using and really, really using 95% of their time. This is what we're trying to build here, because there is always those 5% of people using those 5% of features that those unfortunately probably won't be part of Evmux, because if they will, Evmux will be like so complicated and we don't want to be there. All right. Yeah. I totally get it. And I think that this feature is not that complicated, and we definitely should think about adding it. Just as, a general note, there won't be all the features ever in Evmux on purpose, because it will be just too complicated. So it's always this balance, and I'm so fascinated by this conversation with you all about, you understand the mind, you understand this balance, and thinking together what is the best way and what features are really needed, and hearing your thoughts. It's just, I cannot ask for more. We're 45 minutes live, which is exactly great time to say thank you for everyone. Asking again if you would be able to, and let's do a nice effect. Thank you. Thank you all for joining today. Great opportunity to ask all of you, subscribe, like, it just helps us to grow. I'm so happy for this opportunity to chat with you. Having dozens of people listening in different platforms, not taking it for granted. Thank you for taking the time being with us today. And again, reminding you about our Facebook group. I have a banner for that, so let me feel like this. Become part of our Facebook group, please. Great communities there. Also, we are available in the support chat for you. Continue grow, continue create content. Thank you everybody for joining. And with that, I think that I'll see you all in the next one. So thank you for joining. Bye.
All right, I'm live. That was easy.